Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports. Oh, God damn it. Rough start. All right, let's try that again. I always have to hit pause at the end. Makes no sense. All right. Take two. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
What's going on?
What's up? Little morning pod. You know what, Andy? Whenever we would do a morning pod every week, the night pods felt real exciting. Now you're doing night pods. It's good to be back in the morning. I kind of like just mixing it up. A little morning, a little night. Keep dirt balls on their toes.
I don't. I like it nice and steady.
Okay. What's your preference though? Because you for a while were like, yeah, night, let's do it.
Well, I probably lean towards you moving to New York, and we can.
And we do it on the East Coast.
Then we can both do it at like 10 a.m.
I love that.
Because the standard time when we lived in California at the same time was 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
It was
10 a.m. Pacific. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, we're back on standard time.
We are. We're back on standard time. It was right now. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, we'll never get any defined consistency with that. I don't think it's too tough.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
I mean, you go back to the old days too, where it was like, I mean, we're releasing it after recording. Now it's just like it's out when we're recording. You know what I mean?
Dude, for a while there, we were doing Sunday night for a good year. We did Sunday night
to release Monday morning.
No, we recorded after Sunday Night Football.
Right.
Yeah, and I would have it up after that.
I don't even remember that. Why did we do that?
Because
you were working for Lance?
No, it had nothing to do with that. I was testing. That was after that. I was just testing some things out. And then it gave like entire Monday.
Got it.
But yeah, it's whatever.
It's whatever.
It is what it is. But I think it's usually pretty. I mean, we're pretty consistent. Obviously, at times we're not going to do on Monday and Thursday, but the show will be up, especially now with football coming.
Yeah.
Which I was not getting. Shocking. Nobody really wanted to call. We had one preseason call.
You want to start with that?
Well, we don't have to, but
okay. We just brought it up. You're like, we have one preseason call.
There's a fair amount of football talk that I had written here. I actually want to start. We'll get to that. I want to start with the Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell video.
Yeah, the CTE question mark.
So they're legitimately doing a CTE podcast.
I mean, Antonio Brown is behind CTESPN, correct?
Yeah, at CTESPN.
Yeah, which we joked about forever. And, you know, it seems obvious to me. Antonio Brown, like, I don't know. He came onto the scene. He became so good so fast, and he wasn't a high profile prospect or anything, we're Central Michigan or wherever, the Eastern Michigan, wherever the fuck he was from, or
Central.
Like, I don't know. Was he insane from like day one? Because it really feels like, you didn't really hear what you were just like that guy on the Steelers who's hella good. And then certainly late in his career, he fucking lost his mind. And it's like, it feels like he has CTE, right? It feels like he went crazy.
So here's my thing. I think one, yeah, if you're going to take a lot of hits playing football, playing that position as well. At this point, I would love to see the stats on like who is more prone to get CTE. But also, if you watch this video, which we're about to play, my basic conclusion from watching it is that both him and Le'Veon Bell have a hardcore mix in this video of CTE and marijuana in their system.
Right. Okay. That's fair enough.
Right.
Also, unlike Richard Sherman and Jameis Winston, I don't think these guys were going to the London School of Economics had they not left early to go to football. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think these guys were like, well, I wanted to go play at Central Michigan because they had a good football team. Otherwise, it was definitely Brown University for me.
Yeah, they weren't Ivy League guys.
Right. They're like, you mean even their conversations, it's like, so CTE is like brain damage or like what? I mean, I don't even know.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a mixture of half-baked,
half dumb.
Yes.
With a little, like, they're dumb people, and that's the cupcake. And then they're stoned, and that's the icing that's on the cupcake. And then you just take a little bit of rainbow CTE and you sprinkle it on top. They got a funfettiing of CTE.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. That's actually perfect. They're a cupcake of they're no, I shouldn't say cupcake of CTE. They're, I don't know how would you say it then?
They're a cupcake of like brain deficiencies, but it comes in many forms.
Yeah. I also might say they're leaning in. At least Antonio Brown is, as ridiculous as that sounds.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's not running. I've said this before. He's not running his own personal social media. He's not running CTESPN. He wouldn't know how to do that. So
I would love to be standing next to Antonio Brown and say, you have 90 seconds to take the video I just sent you. I just texted you and put it on CTESPN's Twitter with a caption. Go.
You're proving that's exactly what I'm saying. No way you could do that.
No.
If I said to Antonio Brown, what is your Twitter password? There's no chance in hell he gets that.
I don't know my Twitter password, but I know I could guess it within 3 tries.
Yeah. By the way, I did ask my lady who Lyndon B. Johnson was.
Oh, this is the best. What did she say?
Answered it instantly.
That correctly.
And then she said, why are you asking me that? And then I told her, and then she got mad and she mic dropped me and said, dude, you think I'm done or I'm dumb? I have my PhD. You don't have shit. And then like change the channel. I was like, okay.
I mean, it is, first of all, I don't think this is important in case your baby mama is tuning into the episode now that she knows we talk about her history. No. I don't think dumb and like knowledge about president, like they're not correlated. Like she has her PhD. She's clearly not dumb. I could have told you that before. Like I could have told you without a doubt that the PhD in the household is probably smarter than Chili Boy. You know?
Oh yeah, no, I would never debate that either, and she knows that. There's no book smart versus books like your book. Like I always tell you, you're book smart because
and I lived in Venice, so I'm street smart.
Yeah, so it's just, but not.
I
Just
know
that.
I know what streets not to walk Pizza Rat down.
Yeah, and more pop culture, more just knowledge, and that's why I thought she would strike out on that because, like I said,
did she drop like when you said Lyndon B. Johnson? Was she just like president, or did she give you more than that?
She said president.
I mean, listen,
we didn't get into it. I just said, who's Lyndon B. Johnson? She goes, the president. I go, wow. And then of course I had to explain how it was brought up, and I brought up her calling him LBJ, or I'm sorry, LJ.
Right.
And then she tried to throw it again back in my face of like, you didn't watch. I was watching all the games. I was like at work. I had my iPhone out, and I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't sound like, aren't you mixing very serious drugs for people? Like, but yeah, she got it. Whatever.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's tough. Like, I feel like there are people in the world who might not even know. And you could say, like, if you were obviously, I mean, not Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, those are pretty easy, but like, who's FDR? Like, there are some names you're like, who else would they be?
Well, look, at the end of the day, I think it is random, the historical stuff or the presidential stuff, which whatever.
There's like, I don't know if you saw this thing a couple of years ago. Like, they did a thing about, people on money and whatever. And just like 75% of people think Benjamin Franklin was a president because he's on the 100.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Like, but yeah, he's on the money. It's like, well.
But there's also a difference. And she would admit that. It's like, she doesn't, very gullible too. Very, the street smarts, the still, when I say outrageous things, thinks I'm telling the truth when I'm blatantly being sarcastic.
Yeah.
But to bring it back to Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, they don't have any of these things. They don't have.
They certainly don't have PhDs.
No, but they also don't have common sense. Let's just play the video. I don't even know where this is going. If you look right now, they keep playing the same clips over, or posting the same clips on the @CTESPN Twitter feed, but I assume there's a podcast somewhere. CTESPN.com is currently opening soon. We'll see when that happens.
CTESPN.com.
Yeah. All right. So let's play the clip.
Yeah. Do you think I got CT?
I mean, just out the gate.
You think I got CTE?
And look, they're so high here. They're so high because they're laughing. It's so obvious.
Shoot, I don't think you got CT.
Do you think you got CT?
I don't think I got CT, but we'll never know till we die.
What do you think about CT? What is CT?
ACT.
And then he says ACT.
Yeah.
And Le'Veon Bell here says ACT is the score you get when you take a college entrance test. It's called the ACT. That's what the test is called. I mean, look how stoned they are. Where are they, by the way? I love this setup. Definitely never read any of those books in the background.
I don't think that they know those are books. What is this room?
That's what I'm saying. What is this room?
They were like, yo, we gotta do something like what Shannon Sharp have. And they're like, we don't have a fireplace. He's like, What about what them libraries is full of? You talking about Bibles? Nah, yeah, but like not like the religious ones, like the regular Bibles, like the Bibles that just have like regular stories. You talking about books? Yeah, let's get some books. Now, when you put a book on the shelf, you put it like pages out, right? And they're like, nah, man, some of them, but then the other ones you just want to put like the butt out. Then they just have like the one candle, like it's from an old timey Italian pizza parlor, like the Pizza Hut table candle. This reminds me of when ASAP Rocky and fucking Danny Brown were like sitting by the. This is like.
Oh, I think this one's next level, man. This one's even crazier. To me, it is.
Basically, like when you forget shit, or no?
No, I feel like CTE is really like a bunch of traumas that was like we go through as people.
It's like brain damage, right?
So, Bubba, I love this. They're like, what do you think it is?
And Antonio Brown's description is like, you know, I had a dad who beat me, and then I had a stepdad who called me names. It's like, no, it is not traumas that you went through over the course of your life. Like, Le'Veon Bell is more right. It is just brain damage.
What's funny is they're debating what they think it is. It's almost like you'd be debating the afterlife, something that you don't know, right?
Yeah.
That's up for
this
debate.
Is further proof that Antonio Brown doesn't run his own Twitter because he doesn't know how to just Google it. Yo, should we like Google it? Nah, just keep pontificating on what you think it is.
I don't want to say you're brain damage because you can't live with your brain damage.
But not like brain damage, but it's like a little like part, like little small. Like,
hold on. He was like, I don't want to say you're brain damaged because you can't live if you're brain damaged. That's brain dead. And also you can live. There's a reason it's called brain dead and not just dead, because you can live if you're brain dead. But
I mean, they really do sound. I definitely get a lot of Spicoli vibes from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
But next level. It's again, it's so. I think they're so high here. I'd almost be curious.
Let me ask you something. Do either of them know who Lyndon B. Johnson is?
That's hilarious. I bet if I asked them name the last 4 presidents, they couldn't do it.
I think if you asked Antonio Brown who Lyndon B. Johnson is, he's like, he on the Saints? He a nickel? Little guy, nickel on the Saints? No.
You know what's crazy to me? You know what I was thinking about when I was watching this? I kept thinking.
Sounds real official. He the guy who owned the Cowboys?
Both these guys were in the league just a couple years ago.
Well, that's football. Which is why,
I know, but hold on. My point of saying that is I watched this and I don't know how they comprehended plays is my point.
Yeah.
Dude, NFL offenses are pretty complicated. I can't see these guys knowing where to go. It's just, this is how dumb they sound.
Like damage it, like something like
I feel like it's like people try to frame CTE as a concussion that you may have, but like, yo, we had a bunch of concussions.
That's
you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you could live out the concussion.
Right.
So I feel like CTE could be a bunch of different things, but I feel like it's a characteristic of traumas that we all as people go through. Just like some of them you explained, like, yo, you was 4 years old and your uncle made you play D-line and O-line for 3 years. Banging another kid. You know, that's 1 yard hitting the dirt.
Straight up.
So that's automatically trauma as any kid. Like any kid having to go through that is building some type of trauma.
No. I love that he thinks CTE is tough times in your life. I went through that whole thing with Gruden, and like that was traumatic for me. So like I think my CTE advanced during that, like explicitly. And you're like, nope, that's not what it is at all. He's like, you can live after concussions. Actually, you got very close there. For a second there, you were in the ballpark. It's literally you living after multiple concussions. That's what CTE is.
Trauma, because now as a kid, you just become more aggressive. Now you develop anger. And as a kid and as a person, we all grow with our traumas. Even like me and you, our dad not being there. I mean, some of these intangible.
I mean, what are we doing here? So, because
I joked about this before, and now,
you know, I thought you had seen it.
I hadn't seen the whole way through. I hadn't seen this. I didn't realize he actually thought his dad not being there was CTE.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
I love, you know what I gotta say, one thing I do love about like the modern culture and like therapy speak and whatever is because trauma is in it. He now just thinks all the trauma that his therapist talks to him about is CTE.
It's wild.
And then I was bullied because I wasn't a good student, and that's CTE.
Yeah, it's all insane, man. It's like this isn't real. It's like a parody.
Yeah.
Help us to be great, but sometimes this help us, hurt us, hinder us in some situation because it make us be stubborn. Because now it's like, man, we ain't getting love from my pops, so it's easy to be like, oh man, forget that person, because man, like I already, it's already trauma that you've been built with for how people treated you, and that's why we started this show, because we need to be able to address some of those.
What is this show?
No one knows. I mean, I can pull it up. I don't know if there is.
It should be called Trauma Bonding with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell.
Okay, so they do have a YouTube page
for this show.
It's at CTESPN. It's very confusing.
Well, everybody who runs it has CTE, Andy. So that's,
So it says, okay, so there's 3 episodes. But where's the show? First of all, I don't see the first episode. Oh no, episode 1 is 3 months ago.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill opens up about trauma and having 10 kids and what it takes to be the best. But what's the show called?
They need to let me produce this.
Yeah. And then episode 2.
We can reel this in. It could be huge.
Shakur Stevenson is a boxer. And then episode 3 was Le'Veon Bell. But again, like yesterday, it just says.
And so the guests are all with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is the host of this show?
Correct.
Okay. And then he just has on people who have CTE.
Yeah, and like the banner profile pic on the YouTube page is the same one they use on Twitter, which is a graphic circa like 2014 with a brain. It says CTESPN.
That you made for one of your meme pages?
Yeah, back in the day. The profile says CTESPN, #1 news, sports, entertainment, giving athletes a platform. Dude, listen to this. There's no punctuation. There's no.
I can't imagine there would be.
It says CTESPN, #1 news, sports, entertainment, giving athletes a platform.
Who wrote this, Yoshi? CTESPN giving athletes a platform for
share their traumas, adversity, overcoming, perusing to greatness. What? I would love to know who's behind this. Are we going to finish? Do we even want to finish? There's a few more seconds in the video.
Sure.
You, my friend, I really care about you. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to see you live forever. You got, what, 8 kids, 7 kids?
Watch this. He doesn't know. Apparently, let me rewind this. Antonio Brown asks him how many kids he has. He just nods his head. He goes 7 or 8, and he just goes, Watch. He doesn't say, no, I have 7 or I have 8.
What, 8 kids, 7 kids? You know what I mean? And we got to be there for them. So it's like, we got to address some of the things we go through, like, you know what I mean?
Bro.
I feel really bad for Antonio Brown. I'm not going to lie. Somebody should be helping him, not exploiting him. And it's kind of fucked.
Oh, the whole thing's fucked, and we're laughing at it. I mean,
I know. We're laughing at it because it's ridiculous. But then when you hear him, when you hear him talk, you're like, if he just did this, which I don't think he did. I think the idea. I think you could give Antonio Brown a instruction manual on how to start a YouTube page, and he wouldn't be able to do it with 14 years of studying. So somebody's doing this for him, and it just feels really exploited. It feels like he seems like he's fucking sick. Seems like he's fucked up mentally, like pretty severely.
Just Antonio Brown or both these guys?
Antonio Brown more so. Le'Veon Bell seems kind of stoned and dumb, and maybe with a dusting of CTE. Antonio Brown, I mean, everything we've seen over from the last few years, and now where he's just like, welcome to CTESPN. My dad wasn't there, and we go through a lot, and you're like, oh, this is fucked, dude. Like,
yeah. Well, it's again, I keep going back to him reading a playbook, or he was living the year they won the Super Bowl. When he came late to the Bucks, he was living with Tom Brady. It was almost like a make-a-wish. Now that you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, was Tom Brady his conservator?
Pretty much.
Was he almost legally in charge of him?
Also, let's be honest. Like, it's not like they were sharing. It's not like it was when the guy on couch was living at your place. Like, he probably lived a quarter mile away from Tom Brady in a compound. Tom Brady probably made a little Arkham Asylum in his house, where he was like, well, I'm going to pad the walls here. There'll be a keypad to let him in and out of his room. I'll slide food through the slot in the door. He like, that's another one of my CTEs, is when Tom kept me in the cell. That's one of my CTEs. I struggle with that. It's like, why couldn't I use a metal fork when I was with Tom? Why he only give me plastic sporks, And because of that those moments with CTE, you're like, okay. See, I love that he's just using CTE as a replacement for bad shit that happened to him.
I wonder where his Super Bowl ring is. I could be wrong. I think he caught a touchdown in that Super Bowl.
He might be right.
I can't wait for more of these, though. I'll tell you that much. So here's the thing. You would think marijuana should be, like, it should be used for somebody who's had trauma, somebody who's had brain trauma, probably helps. But I think there has to be a fine line with somebody like him. Do you think he ends up like killing somebody?
Himself.
Yeah. Sadly, you're probably right. I didn't think about that. I mean,
anyway, what else is going on in sports?
I was like, anyway, what else we got? What else is happening here in the
What else?
What Well, the Vikings and their fans are experiencing some trauma this week.
Somebody's gonna walk in on Antonio Brown in the middle of killing himself. He's like, they're gonna be like, stop, and he's gonna be like, I already started. Sorry, I had to work that in.
You worked that in. I'm gonna set the over under at half a person who gets that.
Yeah,
half a person. That's hilarious. Well, the Vikings are on a little CTE watch. They lose their quarterback for the year. I'm sorry, their drafted rookie quarterback, JJ McCarthy. Then Jordan Addison went down yesterday. I haven't followed up on that, but I know he went down with an ankle injury, like carted off.
Bears moving up, bro. Moving up. It was already like they already had the Vikings in the basement. And I wasn't about to do that. I was like, I don't, I'm not like the world's biggest JJ McCarthy fan from the things I've seen, but I was just like, yeah, JJ McCarthy, championship winning quarterback in college, coming in, taking over the most overrated quarterback in the history of the game. I like this. Like, I like sleeper picks, not Darnold. Like, I think Darnold could be fine, but like now I do have them in the basement, which I know Vikings fans are going to probably start DMing me aggressively like they did, because Kevin O'Connor is a genius.
Well, you would think that
let's see how genius he is. I can't wait. I was told he was a genius. Many of Vikings fans.
So I was thinking something out. I was thinking the Viking fans were going to say how much they're going to miss Kirk Cousins.
Well, listen, JJ McCarthy, if there's one thing JJ McCarthy learned, it's like he should have been praying more. More praying, bro. More praying.
I wasn't the biggest fan of JJ McCarthy. Again, what do I know? I don't know. Like, evaluations, whatever. And I don't watch the college game. I wasn't that high on him. Especially going to a team that was basically in a rebuild mode. But they're going to stink now. They're going to stink. Sam Darnold, they're going to stink. They're going to really, really struggle with him.
Did you see the clip, like right after, like the first clip of Sam Darnold after McCarthy got hurt? It's
no.
Like him throwing a pick and then just like putting his head down. He's just like the guy's running it back and he's just standing there. He's just like hands on the knees, like depressed.
Yeah, that might be their season, man. Just a bunch of that. It's depressing. Well, I saw an interesting thing about McCarthy's old coach today. He said he offered Colin Kaepernick a coaching position.
Yeah.
Which I found kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I don't really have strong feelings on it either way. I think a couple things. Jim Harbaugh doesn't seem like the kind of guy who just does that. I mean, obviously he just did it to do it because Colin Kaepernick wasn't sniffing around a coaching job. On the surface, Colin Kaepernick doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would make a great coach, but I also don't know. Like I've been shocked across sports at the type of guys who make good coaches. A lot of guys I didn't think would be good coaches turned out to be good coaches, and vice versa. I don't know what is going on at Chargers camp that Harbaugh thought this could help. But I mean, the argument against Colin Kaepernick, the player, for so long was, the media firestorm that it would bring. So kind of crazy for Harbaugh to do that. Like, you're not getting any benefit of him as a player. You're probably still getting a media firestorm. So to me, if Harbaugh, does, like, I guess he must think that there's value there, because there's no way. It seems like the media that comes with it isn't worth it just being like a PR move, right?
No, I think it's a PR move. I mean, he hired. He's basically hiring all his former players. I think that's his move now.
Yeah.
So he's hired already 3 former Niner guys. I mean, he said he's one of his favorite players he's ever coached.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I found it interesting. I was a little surprised by that. To see that.
I hope he takes it.
He's not gonna take it. Come on.
I don't know
he's still trying to claim he's trying to get back, which is like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
That ship has sailed a long time
Well,
ago.
you know me. Like the ship, but I'm the ultimate Kaepernick defender, and yeah, it's just a matter of like, bro, you've been out of the game for too long. Now, counterpoint, a couple of years ago, Josh Johnson starts a game for the first time in fucking 10 years or something like that. Was awful. Like, I stand by, like, Colin Kaepernick probably comes in and is a fine backup somewhere, like, but you're not coming, like, the ship has sailed as far as like coming back and proving your worth and that you deserve to be here the whole time or anything like that.
But why would you want to coach, truthfully?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Maybe he does. Maybe he wants to be around the game. I have no idea. Why do any of these guys who made a bunch of money want to come back and coach?
Well, I think the guys that do come back really, really, I think there's a different level of people who just love the game. Can't leave the game.
Well, think about all the guys who come back from retirement because they love the game or insist on coaching because they love the game. And these are guys who retired at some point. I mean, we even look at Tom Brady. It's like, how much money can Tom Brady, like, if I was Tom Brady, you would never catch me in a fucking broadcast booth. You might not catch me in public I might just be on a yacht that's in fucking Fiji for the rest of my life. Like, what are you doing? So the idea that these guys just need to be around the game, like, who's to say that Colin Kaepernick isn't one of those guys, especially since he didn't even get a chance to walk away from the game. He was forced away from, like, he was forced to leave a game before he was even kind of ready to.
But don't you think it got to a point where then that changed? I think what happened with him was that once he saw the other side as a, for lack of a better term, spokesperson, activist, whatever you want to call it, and the opportunities then that is given to him. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but he never, but the counter to that is he never stopped saying he wanted to be playing. Never.
He never stopped saying, but I guess we would never know. My point is that if he's giving financial opportunities, whether it's Nike or Netflix or other things, that he probably, truthfully, I believe, never would have anticipated when all this started, right? You can't have a crystal ball in front of you and foresee all this, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't think he saw it happen, but then he saw, okay, I do have other opportunities. And football is a rough sport. I don't know. I guess nobody would ever fully know. My point is,
listen, he could have very easily leaned into, you don't want me. Of course, you don't want me. Fucking, you treat everybody like slaves. And now that I've made my money, I don't need to be a part of your fucking, cattle herding system where you treat everybody like shit and we all end up with CTE and you don't take care of us and we're literally human garbage to you after we stop, producing. And he could have said that, and he could have taken a stance against what the NFL does to people, which is, I think look at what we just watched. They turn your brain into mayonnaise and then they set you off onto a world of embarrassing yourself on social media. The NFL does not give a fuck about players, never will. It takes money out of their pocket to care at all. The NFL is bad to its players. Facts. And if you're one of those people, it's like, oh, so tough to be a millionaire. It's like 6 guys on a team. Shut up. The NFL does not care about its players. And Kaepernick could have leaned into that, but he never got off, I want to play. So,
my point is,
the answer to your question is maybe he just still wants to be around football.
Well, I'm saying at a certain point, maybe he did, because he's still saying that. He's 36. He hasn't been in the game in, 9 years, whatever. At a certain point, he probably, I would have been like, yeah, I might be saying I'm trying out. Don't know if I mean it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
When that happened, who knows? But if there is a sincere and earnest desire to be around the game and to be around a coach that has trusted you since day one, made the call to switch to you, have success together, has still obviously been very close, has still supported you. I mean, there wouldn't be a better opportunity, is my point.
Right.
Because Harbaugh would protect him as much as he possibly could if he became a Chargers coach.
I also think that I also don't necessarily think that him declining to be a coach is means he doesn't care about football anymore. I don't think there's a lot of guys out there are just not interested in coaching, but that would be the reason I imagine he might take it is just like a lot of these athletes, he wasn't prepared to be done with the game, and it was taken from him way before it should have been, against his will.
I wonder how he would fare on Antonio Brown's podcast.
I think a lot better than those guys fared.
I would love to know the questions Antonio Brown would ask him.
You were saying how do these guys even in the playbook? The thing about playing a receiver is you just got to wait to hear fucking what they say X is going to do on the play. You got to know. You don't know what the fucking protection is on that. You just know you're running a 15-yard in, or you're running a fucking corner route, or you're running it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Kaepernick was a quarterback in the NFL.
For sure.
Jameis Winston, Jamarcus Russell, there's not a lot of people who are incredibly dumb and successful at it.
You're saying the Jameis Winston 4.0 that he had at Florida State doesn't hold up?
I'm just saying, he sounds like an idiot. He's done things that make you think he's an idiot. He's a terrible quarterback. If it walks like a rapist and it talks like a rapist.
We did get one call about the NFL preseason. I'm going to play it real quick.
Okay.
McKay Parker, Houston, Texas.
Boy, Frano McKay.
I have two theories about the NFL preseason. I think some people go to the game because maybe a guy's drafted from Western Kentucky, and the fans from Western Kentucky just want to see the player that's probably not going to make the roster, but they want to see him play in the NFL, and they're like, oh, man, he was so great at Western Kentucky. So glad he's a New Orleans Saint. And then another theory is the owners probably give the rookies extra tickets, so the they give those tickets to like family. So, guys that, aren't like the biggest names give tickets to their family for the preseason games, because that's probably the only time that they'll see them play. Those are my theories. Yeah. Have a great day. Bye.
Okay, so here I agree that people want to see guys that maybe they follow in college, but like your example, which is a fine one, whatever, choose any school. How many people living in Chicago went to Western Kentucky?
Right.
And they're going to a
No,
Bears game?
listen. I mean, I understand what McKay is saying, and it's like if you look at the sporadic amount of fans, and by the way, a lot of NFL preseason games are like mostly full, but like yes, within the group of people that you see live in person at NFL preseason games, families of guys trying to make the team, fans of a random dude, like whatever, those are for sure mixed in there. Like when my buddy was a minor league baseball player, I went to a lot of minor league baseball games for those like 4 summers. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, he's coming through Norwich, Connecticut. I guess we're driving up there to see him. He's coming to Hudson Valley. I guess we're driving up there to see him. Like, I'm going to Florida once a year to see him play in Tampa. Like, that's a thing that you do. But combine both of those groups he's talking about, that's 200 people. Who are the other 17,000? Who are the other 30,000 people that are at these games? I think, again, a lot of maybe families, dads and their kids that can't afford or preseason or think, hey, I'll save money on a regular season game by going to the preseason. The kids aren't going to know the difference. I think what we're trying to get to the bottom of is like, you're an NFL fan. You have season tickets to this team. Who the fuck are you that you're going to these games? Like, I get that they've taxed you by making you buy the 2 preseason games, but like, you're going?
You know what I found interesting? And obviously we just talked about this last episode. And then Hard Knocks episode 2 for the Bears aired on Tuesday. And it was delayed. Everybody's going crazy. It was delayed on Max.
It was delayed from when to when?
It was delayed a few hours on Max. Like, it aired on normal HBO, and then it was supposed to come out at 8:00, I think Central Time, and it was delayed like 2 or 3 hours.
This is the same. This is the same people. Like, you're just like desperate to watch Hard Knocks.
It was the numbered. I looked because at the time because again, like, we watch it together as a couple, and I said it's not on, like, before bed. I said it's not. He's like, no, I'm reading news stories. Of course, I pulled out Twitter. It was the number 2 trend in the entire country at the time that it wasn't on, and that's all it was. People going psycho.
Let me ask you something, because it almost feels like it doesn't matter what the team is. Like, I still have not finished Giants offseason Hard Knocks. This is my team. Now, it's not regular Hard Knocks, but there was a time where, like, I was desperate to, like, I watched Hard Knocks the second it came out. Is there some part of, like,
yeah, it's watered down? Is that what you're getting to?
Not only watered down, but just like now, there was a time where it was like we didn't really have a behind the scenes of these players, and now it's like they're all posted I'm getting 40 clips a day from Giants preseason on social media. There's quarterback,
oversaturation.
There's receiver, there's in-season Hard Knocks, preseason Hard Knocks.
But not just that. If you go to their feed, they're all mic'd up. The social media team's following them around everywhere. It's their own team. Just follow your own team's social media. I agree. It's the allure is not there.
It used to be like whoa. Oh, behind the scenes look.
Even as recently as 5 years ago. But again, they're all showing it all the time. It's everywhere. I mean, what I found interesting about this last one, the only thing I found interesting that I just thought of, we're talking about going to these games. They played the Bills up at Orchard Park. That stadium was so empty. And I said, this is interesting. The Bills fans, they don't care. A nice, perfect, a perfect time of year to be up there because it gets so damn cold. But it's like the Bills fans who are known for the feet of snow and getting slammed through tables, they care more about that and doing that when it's winter than showing up on a nice fall day for a preseason. It's probably one of the most empty stadiums I've seen for a preseason game. It was just empty. But that's the thing. It's like the Bills get trounced 33-6 in a preseason game. And I'm like, this means nothing. This means nothing. So I don't know. But it's everywhere. The fandom and the caring. None of it matters. We're down to 3 preseason games. I mean, they need to drop another one. Realistic,
like, again, at kind of like every level, like when you played high school football, you had what? One cross school scrimmage before season started? You had one scrimmage against another team,
I think.
Yeah. Every level of football I played, Pop Warner, middle school football, high school football. Like, you have preseason, you have a live scrimmage, and you start your season.
I think you're right.
Here's what every team should do. They should steal the baseball model. Every team should have preseason, and then the week, a full week, a week before the season. So obviously the week before the season, you should have off. Like, you should have practice, but you're not hitting. But the week before that, Jets should play the Giants all week, shared practice.
Yeah.
One preseason game. Dolphins should play the Bucks all week, one preseason game. Texans should play the fucking Cowboys. Week of co-practices, one scrimmage. Let all those fights happen. Let all the stuff happen. Play one game. Week off from scrimmaging, but like obviously you have practice. Week 1.
Can we pivot to some baseball talk?
Yeah.
This is actually, I somehow missed this a few hours ago. I'm just seeing this now. Is this for real? This Rob Manfred idea?
I actually don't know what you're talking about. I thought you were about to hit me with Aaron Judge fastest to 300 home runs.
No. Could 6-inning minimum starting pitcher rule come to MLB?
That's stupid. That's horrifically stupid. What does that even mean?
I mean, this can't be real, can it?
Where are you seeing this?
Well, ESPN wrote that story. I want to see the actual.
What? You know how remarkably dumb that is?
According to an MLB official who spoke to ESPN's Jesse Rogers, I want to go to another site, though, just because there's too much. I don't want to go through all that. This is actually a quick summary. The league is searching for a way to accomplish 3 reasonable, even noble goals. 1, increasing the amount of action in the game. Here we go again. 2, restoring the prominence of the starting pitchers. And 3, reducing the prevalence of pitching injuries. And while there are a handful
of those last two go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, and by the way, I've been very critical of the usage of starting pitchers and the lack thereof, and how they don't let them pitch enough innings. They don't let them go. That being said, the counterpoint of sometimes a guy's just got to come out of the game. The Major League Baseball will cease to exist the first time a big name pitcher goes out there, gets shelled, they make him pitch 6 innings or 4 innings, and he throws 140 pitches, and then at the end of the year he has Tommy John, and then he just sues them for $40 billion.
According to league conversations reported by Rogers, the starter could be removed from the game before reaching 6 inning minimum. So if he throws 100 pitches, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If he gives up 4 or more earned runs, or if he gets injured, well, no shit.
You hear that they might be knocking down a building next door? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, look, man.
We don't need it's just like government. We don't need more bureaucracy. We just need a change of attitude. We just need a change of fucking attitude about some things. We don't need rules.
I mean, it's
you know why,
insanity.
Andy? Because here's the thing, and I sent this to you to bring up on the show. Baseball can't enforce baseball is inept at enforcing its own fucking rules. I sent you video of George Springer getting hit in the foot, clearly and on video, and the umpire's like, nah, it didn't happen. Like, the baseball has too many rules as it is, and the rules are in hands of incompetent fucking people.
They have that video right here.
George said, that hit me. Yeah, he said, yeah, check it out. That hit me. He was on his way to first base, anticipating Manning.
I mean, the reaction alone, he knows hit him because he has feelings in his foot. And then he goes, check it. Because he knows.
Yeah, so they go to the monitor.
But the Blue Jays, of course, can't appeal this. And they're going to have a look.
Hit me. I thought I heard a thud, too. This is a breaking ball moving down and in. Maybe it was the left foot. Let's take a look right here. Nope, it was the right toe, right before he released it.
Tishner and Manny Gonzalez.
So now there's video evidence. Clearly, we watched one angle.
What?
Yeah.
One angle, one clip. We saw it hit his foot on grainy fucking TV monitors right here, streaming on a podcast. So obvious that it hit his foot.
Toronto loses their challenge. Wow, that was a little bit of a...
Umpires, no. I called it didn't hit his foot, and I'll be goddamned if I'm going to be wrong. So now I'm going to go on live TV in front of in front of tens of thousands of live fans, in front of hundreds of thousands of TV fans, and I'm going to lie. I'm going to lie. Everybody watched video evidence of it happening. I'm going to lie. Imagine this being your fucking league. If I was the commissioner of baseball, I would be like, oh, you guys want to go to war? We're going to go to war. Your union can suck my dick from the back. That guy's never allowed to be an umpire in baseball ever again. Here's something that we're not going to do. We're not going to lie to millions of people who know we're lying. You're gone forever. You don't umpire in baseball anymore. Goodbye. And maybe maybe it's not the home plate umpire, but the umpire who's the review umpire, you're gone forever. You have been fired.
It's the review. I think they say that. Let's watch the video. I think they say that.
Yeah.
George Springer's foot and directionally changed
He just threw him out. He just threw Springer out of the game, and now John Snyder has lost it, and Vladdy is coming to get Springer out. Gonzalez might have said something that really tripped the trigger of Springer because he is hot. You don't see George this hot very often, and I bet you the umpire said something to him. But George was hit in his mind and didn't get the call by a review. But you don't see George Springer lose it the way he did right there.
No, not at all. And I would be heated too because that ball absolutely hit him. And some people might say, why is he so frustrated with Manny Gonzalez? He's not the one who decided via replay. Well, the home plate umpire's right there, and I heard a thud. I guarantee you, Manny Gonzalez is about.
You fired. You fired.
Well, look, I feel like football has that problem too, though.
Yeah, and I said this, and not. But here's what football did. Football was like, we're going to do a pass interference penalty, and then they were like, holy shit, our refs keep lying. We're removing the football penalty. I'd be like, you fired. Here's something we don't do to keep our league legitimate and to keep fans from saying these games are rigged. I fire guys who lie to millions of people. Blatant lies. My shirt is blue. You fired. Like, you can't wear a red shirt and then swear to people your shirt is blue. You fired. You destroy the legitimacy of your entire league. So now baseball is going to institute more rules that the guys who are in charge of the rules can then bend and break at their leisure. We need less bureaucracy because the people enforcing the bureaucracy are incompetent.
I realistically don't think they could ever institute the 6-inning minimum.
Unless a guy gets hurt or throws 100 pitches or like, okay, so basically just the same reason we're taking pitchers out now.
As a fan, as just a casual fan, you don't want to go to a game and not understand the rules. Right? You want to keep things simple just from a viewing pleasure.
Then we get into him. Then we get into the guy who doesn't have it that day, squeezing his arm. And then we have the Belichick manager who's faking an injury report. Oh, yeah, an MRI. Looks clear.
I mean, they start with a guy on second base in the 10th inning.
Yeah, and a girl has to play at least 2 innings. And has to be in one of the infield positions.
At the end of the day, football and basketball have relatively stayed the same as far as the rules. The consistency has helped those games. I agree, adding more only complicates things and only just makes things worse. It's a dying game, man. It is. It's just a dying game. And stuff like this doesn't help. I would have so much confidence if I was hired to run their marketing. I mean, there's so many easy things that can be done. So that and maybe this isn't the best example, but the guy who did the backflip who ran onto the Reds field, they dropped the charges recently. Of course they did. Well, he's connected. His grandmother was a judge in Cincinnati. But anyway, he's supposedly, and I don't know how they enforce this, he's supposedly banned from every Major League Baseball stadium for his life. The local Florence Y'alls just did a
backflip contest.
No, he's throwing out the first pitch tonight, and it's getting so much traction.
It's unbelievable how.
And I'm like, that's what I was thinking of. Like, you have one independent league team leaning into it, and everybody loves it, and it has so much fanfare, and then you got the pro team. I'm not saying they have to welcome fans running onto the field. No.
Right.
But you banned them for life.
Yeah.
And the truth is, that was probably the most exciting thing to happen to the Reds this year.
And what they should do is they should be like, you're banned for life unless you do this and this and this and this and this. You got to do community service. Like, if you do whatever, if you help kids, if you man the fucking whatever at the ballpark for the fucking disabled kids, or if you hand out fucking whatever. Like,
and the Reds film it and they lean into it.
Yeah.
And
give the kid attention. You're banned for life unless you sweep up fucking peanut shells at the end of games.
And somehow incorporate the backflips in there.
Yeah.
And we'll film it. And we'll put it on our social media. And a lot of it does go back to the social media. We just talked about the NFL. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
The amount of access fans have to players. One league gives you unlimited 24/7 access to your favorite players. The other league puts up nets. So you can't even get a basic autograph. That's why baseball's dying. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. But you know why? There's too many people out there that defend and allow it.
Oh
And
my
they don't-
God. Do you remember when they put up the nets? Do you remember the people we were fucking dealing with?
But that's my point.
Kids can't get autographs anymore, and every single view from the lower level of the field and the second deck is ruined by nets. And we were dealing with people. Whoa, a lady died 5 years ago at Dodger Stadium. Cool. Social media influencers and the elderly cannot sit below the mezzanine. The end. Did you see the ball boy get hit in the head at Fenway?
No, I didn't see it.
It's a great, I think it might be a John Boy video, but it's like the perfect.
When did it happen?
Like a couple days ago. It's the perfect I think it's John Boy who put the clip up. This kid, the bat boy gets drilled by a foul ball, but they do a great thing where it's like the people who are in the seats right on the on deck circle. The guy who's narrating the video goes, look at how no one except the three old white guys, the three actual baseball fans, are even paying. The only people who see a foul ball hit a kid in the head are the three white dudes who are watching. All the women, all the kids, all the fucking tweens, all the whatever. No one's even paying attention. Field level should be for those guys and those guys only. I hate to say it, but it should be called the patriarchy level. Only old white dudes are allowed to. Only old white dudes who can handle catching a foul ball are allowed to sit in the field level. Take down the nets. The patriarchy. How about let the patriarchy be your bulletproof vest from foul balls?
Yeah, I'm watching the foul ball now.
The narrator of that video even goes, look at how the only people paying attention are the three old white dudes. Everybody else is fucking on their phones, eating popcorn, fucking playing the shell game on the fucking video screen.
Such a mess, man. It's sad. It's really sad. And it's not going to be fixed. None of this is going to be fixed. You literally need
think about the publicity.
A revolutionary, like somebody.
Think about the publicity. If Rob Manfred was like, that replay umpire will never work again because he lied on national television, and if we have to take the MLB umpires union to the Supreme Court, so be it. If we have to fight this all the way to the Supreme Court, so be it. We have lawyers. We'll fight it. The MLB union is not going to get in our way of firing people who lie to people on national television. You don't get to lie. You don't get to see something and lie about it and still work for Major League Baseball. Think about the publicity. You'd be like, well, it's kind of cool, man. The new commissioner is like fucking going for it.
But that's what the league needs. That's what I'm saying. They need like a revolution. And I use the term revolutionary, which sounds pretty dramatic. Just somebody who really thinks outside the box.
Also,
Hey.
kind of inside the box, just like regular old box thinking. Like you're not allowed to be incompetent at your job and keep it. Old school, regular old life.
Yeah.
Imagine a bank manager. Imagine a bank gets robbed. And they come to the bank manager and they're like, you were robbed. And he's like, no, I wasn't. And they were like, $60,000 is missing. And here's video of the guy robbing you. Didn't happen. They'd be like, you know what? You're right. You get to keep your job. He'd be fired instantaneously. You're just going to deny it happened and deny the video evidence of it happening? What are we doing here? You're fired. Are you dumb and you don't see that ball hit that guy? If you're too dumb to know what a guy getting hit in the foot with a baseball looks like, you can't work here. And if you're lying about it, you definitely can't work here. Either way, you can't work it. You're fired. And then they'd be like, did you see what Commissioner Prano did? He put this dude's Facebook profile on the MLB at MLB on Instagram and said, we fired this guy for being an incompetent liar. This guy's kind of crazy. He shamed his whole family.
So here's an interesting point that somebody just posted on YouTube. Don't tell the replay official what the call on the field was.
Haven't I said this a million? Haven't I said for a million years? Why does the call on the field matter?
Yeah.
I mean, the replay official's going to know what the call on the field was just by like watching the clips.
Yeah.
But how about the call on the field shouldn't matter?
Yeah. We need
also protect your brethren at your own cost. Oh, you're going to protect the other guy. This is the same. This is exactly what police commissioners should do too. You know? Oh, it's not all bad apples. Not all cops are lying pieces of shit. Okay, but if you're a cop who doesn't turn in other cops who are lying pieces of shit, then you are by fucking, by being by protecting them, you're also a lying piece of shit. So when cop unions protect each other, when you protect racists and murderers and liars and thieves, then you're just as bad. So protect your fucking thing at your own cost. Oh, we've got to deal with the Major League Baseball Umpires Union? Cool. I will fight this to the Supreme Court. You don't get to lie. The end. I'll tear your fucking union down. You're not allowed to employ liars. Don't lie to protect your brethren or you're fucking fired.
And I don't think that baseball, I'll use this as an example, this video. Again, I think it's somewhat of a problem for sure in the NFL as well. But I think people watch a video like this, and I don't think baseball is smart enough, which is kind of mind-blowing. I don't think they're smart enough to think, hey, people are going to watch this and realize he was hit and we lied. And a lot of people are going to go, why do I care about this game again?
Yeah.
Why? Wait, I can watch a Savannah Bananas game where they're doing backflips and a car's driving through the field like they're in the middle of an inning. I don't know. It's just.
But you know what the NFL did? Like the NFL has a ton of problems, and it's run by despicable people. There's no doubt about that. But they the fans questioned the legitimacy of the NFL during the Saints-Rams playoff game. And to counter that, they made pass interference reviewable. And then the referees union started lying to protect each other. And so the NFL was like, we're just getting rid of it. The NFL, in a way, should have done the exact same thing as I'm suggesting, but at least they did whatever. They were like, oh, this is going to cause more problems than it helps. And now we're 2 years removed from that incident and no one cares about it anymore. So you can't challenge pass interference anymore. But at least they took action steps. Now, what they should have done is they should have kept pass interference reviewable and fired referees who lie. But again, all these leagues are run by despicable assholes who are afraid of unions for some reason, except the players union. All these commissioners are so afraid of the umpires union and the referees unions, and they shit on the players union. I love that.
I think the baseball union, I think the players union still has a lot of power.
But I'm saying
way more
they
than the
strike.
NFL.
You know what I mean? They strike and they do all these things. But then they're like, Angel Hernandez gets 30% of his calls right. But what are we going to do? Fire him? They have unions. The union. How can we fight the union? I don't know. You suspend players for life on a whim.
It's a mess. It's for sure a mess. And it's not going to be fixed. I mean, they're talking about a 6-inning minimum.
You can't
That's
enforce
insanity.
the rules you have.
I don't think anybody's asking him the right questions either.
Like, why are you a cunt?
Well, yeah, that's a good start. But I think that I would ask him, who are you trying to attract? You're doing all these things, but your target model, who's your audience? I don't think they know that. So like in the marketing world, you have to know who your
Joe
audience
Prano,
is.
New York Daily News here. A couple questions for you, Rob Manfred. 1, why are you a cunt? 2, what would you say you do here? 3, why is every decision you make wrong? Also, what Andy said.
Because if your target audience is families, and it should be if you're a baseball organization, it should be your target audience, families. If that's your target audience, you're already starting at a terrible angle with your prices. Tickets, food, we've done the whole night. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're already starting at the worst possible spot because you clearly don't care about that stuff. That's kind of their mindset. If they were smart, we've said it a million times.
Is your game unaffordable to the average family? Yes, it is. Is your game fair? No, it's not. Great. This is awesome. We're off to a hot start here. Okay. Is it going to be super long and boring? You betcha. Okay. What else we got here? Parking. It's going to be a disaster, right? Oh, you know it. Like, what the fuck, dude?
So if I did a side-by-side, this is what I would do. I would say, okay, let's do side-by-side. The most fervently followed sport in the United States, which is obviously football, the NFL. And then the one people care about probably the least, baseball.
Yeah.
I'm not going to include soccer or hockey. I'm just talking about the big three. If I did a side-by-side and said, okay, what advantage, I would start it this way. I'd say, what advantages does football have over baseball? I'd say, okay, football has viewing. It's a great produced game. It's great to watch from home. But the counter for baseball would say, our viewing is fun for the family because you don't have to be involved in the game. Okay. So then I would say, how do we exploit that advantage that we have of viewing our game live? Well, we got fun things at the ballpark. Cool. We got family zones, kid zones. Oh, those are all great. What about price? And then there was where the problems start to lie. How often do you all offer $1 hot dog nights? How often do you do $5 beer nights? How often, and it's like you could easily whittle away the things that they're doing incorrectly or advantages that they should have against other sports, but they don't. How accessible are the players to fans? Oh, there's nets. Oh, well, can we make them go up? Can we at least maybe have a compromise in that they go down or they can go up certain times? I don't know. Maybe logistically that's not possible. What a shit show. You're going to be last man standing, Prano. You're going to be last baseball guy standing.
Tell me about it.
310-359-8365. Let us know what you guys think. Hop on in. Get off those Reddit forums, you Detroit Lions fans, you Cincinnati Bengals fans, you Dallas Cowboys fans. Get off those Reddit forums.
You been on Reddit lately?
What's up?
You been digging in the NFL Reddits lately?
Yeah, a little. But I just know that that's where every expert goes.
You'll love this. You remember how I gave up on Reddit a while ago? I checked in on our Reddit for the first time like a couple weeks ago. But like I've maybe checked in on our Reddit like I would say no more than 3 times since I quit. Like, I mean, this is over a year ago, right? So with
I don't believe that.
No, I swear, I swear, Andy, you know me.
I chimed in recently.
You know me, and I chimed in recently on something because like I have the inability not to chime in. So the fact that I've chimed in, I think once in like the better part of a year plus is like why you can know that I haven't been there. So funny enough, working for Corolla, there's a Reddit page devoted to his show, which I had to start kind of checking in on for like different shit. And it's the same thing. It's just so negative that I was just like, why does, and then I was just like, hey, I'm like, if it's cool, I'm going to stop going to this thing. Like, I know you guys kind of want me to keep an eye on it, but it's just like, it's so negative to the point where I actually created a game for his show called Reddit or Forget It, where I took really horrible things being said about Adam from Reddit, and then I wrote really horrible things about Adam, and then we had to guess whether or not they were real, they were from Reddit or not from Reddit.
That's a great game.
Yeah, it was great because it was so. Then people were like, "Bro, some of the things that you made up were like horrible," and I was like, "Well, I had to make it like match Reddit."
Yeah,
they're like, "Yeah, but you wrote that about your boss," and I was like, "Yeah, but I was imagining what a piece of shit on Reddit would say."
Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate. But I think with football, it's and maybe just sports.
Because they don't think it's like a direct line to the thing. It's I think not like the Detroit Lions are monitoring their Reddit and taking suggestions from the Reddit forum.
I think it's mostly optimistic, but I think when somebody is even remotely pessimistic or tosses out an idea, that's when I think they get the downvotes. It's
wild. It's basically the reverse of every Reddit otherwise.
Oh, dude, I was looking at the Bengals Reddit the other day and I couldn't resist. I chimed in a few things. This guy had the amount of downvotes this guy had for questioning the Jamar Chase situation. It's like, hey, man, what if we said fuck you and we pay T? And dude, it's they had like all these downvotes, and it's like you guys are all ball washers. You like
ball washers,
like ball lickers, ball washers. They do whatever you do.
I like it. I like it.
It's like
I'm just picturing the ball washer on a golf course, and then just that just being somebody on Reddit's mouth.
But yeah, it's fascinating to me that fans aren't at this point more critical of their teams, especially their NFL teams. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm now to the mindset of maybe like an East Coast. I feel like East Coast fans are pretty critical.
Yeah.
I'd rather be that way than just be like, duh, we'll get them next year. Well, fuck that. I put a lot of energy and a lot of these fans put money into this. You should have good expectations.
Yeah.
What was that segment called?
Read it or forget it. Like set it and forget it.
Oh no, I know what you're doing.
I wrote some really fucking good ones too. I wrote one that was like, Adam seems like the kind of guy who would pay a hooker in podcast merch. And then people were like, "Oh, that's from Reddit." I was like, "That was me."
How close was Adam Carolla just the one answering?
No, we had on. Who did we have on?
Guest?
We with 3 people in the room.
Okay. Those are always fun when you get to write stuff like that.
Yeah. And even, do you know, I forget it was a female comedian. I forget who it was who was on the show that day. She was like reading the news, but she was like, so the ones that are not going to be from Reddit is just like what Joe thinks about you, I guess. And I was like, well, don't say that.
Yeah. That's funny. I mean, for sure, you could do that. You'd have any show.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun one. All right, 310-359-8365. Give us a call.
Let's get some, since I just did it, I'll continue the plug. So, just like we went over to Substack a couple months ago, the other show I work for, the Adam Carolla Show, just launched a Substack page. It's been live since this past Monday. That show, I don't know who works over there did this, but it's currently recommending The Dirty Sports as one of Adam Carolla's recommended podcasts. He's recommending us. That was nice of him.
I'm shocked. I don't know how that happened.
But the one thing I would really love to talk about is that his network launched a new show, which I am the producer of as well. Beat It Out. It's a show with Adam Carolla and Jay Moore where they talk stand up and they try to take like random ideas that they have and beat it out until they have like a bit from it. Jay Moore is one of my all-time favorite comics. One of the guys, I tweeted it the other day. First comic I ever paid to see. I don't think there's been 4 comics. I think the only comics I've ever paid money to see were Jay Moore, Norm Macdonald, and Tracy Morgan. I also saw Robin Williams but I think somebody brought me as a guest. So like not a ton of, it's a small class of people. And Jay Moore, just like one of my all-time faves. So him and Adam have a great new show that I helped create, and that is exclusively on Substack. So if you're already listening to us on Substack, at least go over and free subscribe to the page. Check it out. If you like it, join. And we're Substack. It's a beautiful place full of positivity, unlike Reddit.
Now, how did they come up? How was the name Beat It Out?
I don't know. That was a name.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were in.
Yeah.
If you were in on
No.
that.
No.
Because that's what I used to do in high school all the time.
Yeah.
I used to beat that shit out, son. Beat it out. How often will they do episodes for that?
Weekly.
Okay.
I mean, they'll launch weekly. Like we're recording them in bunches, but they'll be recorded. They'll be released weekly. We released the first one this Monday. And it's fun. Like actually on the first episode, Adam brings up a concept, and then that night he tried it at the Irvine Improv. So we have video of him actually trying a bit that he pitched for the first time earlier that day. And we're going to be putting that out soon. It's just funny to see. Like Jay Moore is literally like, as your friend, don't do that bit. It's terrible. And then he goes and he does it at the Irvine Improv. So it's kind of fun. And I chime in as the voice of God on that. Like I'm kind of the man in the booth, throwing out suggestions and giving them ideas and stuff like that, giving them my thoughts. So
it's a comic podcast, like literally comedy.
yeah. That's and totally unpolished ideas that they're just throwing at each other. So it's fun. And Jay Moore is one of my favorites, and like you said, comedy, all comedy, which is
an interesting for those, obviously, which is probably most people unfamiliar. It's an interesting process when you have an idea.
Yeah.
And you're like, how does this go from up here to on stage?
Yeah. That's our log line, from the page to the stage.
Yeah. Because it really is a process. Well, that's cool. That's fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's our show. We'll be back, I believe, on Monday. Time TBD. TBD. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah. Monday. Yeah, probably evening, but
evening actually works better for me Monday with my schedule.
Okay, great. Monday evening it is.
Cool.
We're certainly gonna have to start figuring this out, because like Monday evenings are gonna start being football. So unless we're doing live watches.
That's true. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. And as always, stay dirty.